Hello everybody, Geraldine Rose here. It's snowing up here in Canada, so it's a perfect day to make a thank you card for the Altenew Inspiration Challenge in January. The challenge has a lot of cream and brown tones in it. I thought the Nina Desert Storm cardstock would make a better background, so here I am scoring and folding one over, getting it ready to use. Warm tone shiny things always pair well with that cardstock. Got my glimmer machine out. I pulled out the Altenew Deco Fan hot foil plate. I'm using the Aura foil here, setting it down. The blanket is because it's very cold up here on the third floor. We are in Canada and it's winter. There I'm checking what side of the paper has actually got the smoothness to it. That's the side that you want down against the foil, and the foil, you're going to put the pretty side of the foil to the pretty side of the plate. Push the timer button. This is after I've run it through the big shot. Let it cool down. That's my waving. That's what we're doing there. And of course it turned out lovely. So I've got the matching die set out to that, and I've run it through as well. The panel now, another craft one, I am spritzing with a couple of the shimmer sprays there. It's sitting aside to dry. In the meantime, I'm actually going to work on the inside sentiment. So this was the Acts of Kindness stamp. The smaller sub-sentiment underneath was from Handmade with Love. It looked like it needed something more, so I overstamped the top part with a gold metallic ink. Then I got out the boho circle stencil now that that back panel is dry from all the shimmer sprays we put on it. I am just mixing some of the paste over top of it here, the solar paste, and then one of the Ranger, I think it was the translucent crackle one. It ends up with a really neat kind of opal effect if you guys want to try it out, if you've got some of those around. Altenew has got some new metallic paste I was kind of hoping to get my hands on that I could see working really well with this too. That, by the way, is my pink fuzzy reindeer house coat. It was getting really cold up here. So now I'm back to the inside panel again. I'm carrying over my Unity with that boho circle stencil again and just bringing a really light color in the background. Front panel is dry with the paste. I am gluing her down, making certain that my outside alignment is good. Okay, looks like it's set in place. I'll put an acrylic block over it here at this point. Now the inside of the card that you see me gluing down here next, I ended up not being really happy with it, so I redid it. You'll see that at the end. I got out some of the metallic glittery cardstock. I ran it through with the Delicate Mandela die, and here I'm trimming it down so that it's going to fit up against the corner of that panel. Now with something that's this intricate, you want to like dab the glue on the back, so that's what I'm doing there. Now that that is all set, I've got it into place, put a block over top of it. Alrighty, we better get to working on the star of the show, which are the flowers. This is the Altenew Craft a Flower, the Layered Amaryllis. You can see I cut the leaves out of green cardstock. I believe that was bamboo. I have the honey drizzle, and I think it was chamomile up on the top ready to go for the flowers themselves. So they've got 3 flowers, big one, medium, and a smaller one. That smaller one on the bottom, I am going to put it on the inside of the card. That's why it's a different color as well too. So I've started out with my pinks, and I'm going around the edges, and I just am bringing in the color from the outside farther and farther in with each layer that I'm going with each successive color, so that it blends and it gives it much more depth. I wanted the biggest flower to be the darkest one, so that one I ended up putting most of the cherry sweet on the outside, and I kept referring to the back of the Altenew package over there on the left hand side, just because this is the first time I've actually done this Craft a Flower set, and I wanted to see how they actually had it, so it's a good reference to follow. So here's the patented keyhole method that Altenew has, which the few times I've used it already, I have found it really easy rather than trying to figure out, oh, okay, well, this piece kind of looks like that and that one kind of looks like this. This first one here has actually got the keyhole. The middle one has got an arrow, and then the smallest flower has got the triangles. And you just go from biggest to smallest pretty much, basically. They've got numbers on the ones in the back, So like 1 is the base, 2, 3, and then there's usually a small little piece that you end up putting in the middle, which covers up either that keyhole or the arrow or the hourglass or the triangle, whatever each particular one happens to be. I'm putting the anthers and the stamens in there. Pistils. I'm going to have to look up my biology book and find out what those are again. You can see I'm just working on the last little one, the one that's going to go on the inside. And at this stage I went, okay, it's just a little bit too different from the others. I did go in and deepen this one up with a bit more of the darker red ink to make it the same as the others. So I've got my, let's get that backing off of the foam tape, and then we're going to dab some glue on there. Helps to give you a little bit of wiggle room. And I find too that especially when you're putting the foam tape and the other things down over top of the glitter cardstock, that helps to give you a little bit of extra security. So while I'm doing the rest of placing the sentiment and the leaves in place, I'm just going to say, sorry, we don't know what's wrong with the microphone. This is the second new one that we've gotten. It seemed to go wonky when we had a thunderstorm, so now we're wondering if it's something to do with the sound card in the brand new computer. Just bear with us and we'll see if we can do things to improve it in some manner. Anyway, on the inside of the card you can see I put that smaller amaryllis in there over top of the gold circle that was left from the die cut in the middle. And these too, these were part of the cutouts that were from the mandala die. And I went, those look like hearts. We can use those for embellishments. So I glued them down there, and then I got out some half pearls of the gold ones and putting those into place. I didn't want really big ones because the background in itself and the amaryllis, they're just stellar enough. But I wanted a little bit because I always like having those surprise hidden elements that you can keep looking at the card and finding out, oh, what's going on here? What's going on there? Now, custom stamp, of course, on the back. Thank you very much, Scrap and Stamp. Unfortunately, they no longer do them, but there are other companies online if you guys want to search them out for yourselves. I was contemplating what I could do to get the bold amaryllis to link up with the rest of the card and thought, oh, my Kuretake gold mica ink. Just a few splatters of that. Shook it up, got my little fan brush out, masked those off with some paper towel, afterthought, right? And it worked. It really did help tie everything together. Speaking of tying everything together, you can see here that I do the envelope too. Amy Savvy, she got me going on the inside of the cards. Christina Warner's mail art got us going on the outside of the cards. This one, I am just doing that gradient around the outside of the envelope with a stencil over top of it. And I am grabbing out the Altenew Crafty Friends stamp that has a whole bunch of good sayings that you can put on the back of your envelopes. And we're tucking one of those on the back flap, and then we're doing a couple of the other little stamps from that set as well too, so that I can put this person's address and my address on the front. So there you have it. That's the card. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, but just think of how in our crafting community, we've got the ability to have no borders. We put a stamp on an envelope with a card inside, and we send it out, and it goes all around the world. So you all be that change you want to see, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.